welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my digital journal spreads. I feel like I do it in a way that's a little different from other people. I use 3 different methods, so I'll be showing you the pros and cons of each. To begin with, these are the websites/apps that I use. Canva is for making spreads. Sketchbook is for making spreads / adding extra little touches at the end. Paper is the app we're going to use to display our spreads. And then, of course, I use Pinterest. I don't know how else anyone gathers images from anywhere without Pinterest. And also remove.bg, because that's going to help us remove backgrounds from the items we want to use in our digital journal spreads. So step 1 is, of course, gathering our images. Like I said, I always use Pinterest. Depending on your personality, this could be a lot of fun or a big chore. I would say try to keep in mind what you want your spread to look like. And even if you're not sure, try to stick with a color palette. It will definitely make things much easier later on. Otherwise, you'll end up having to return later on to find more items because maybe you don't have enough for your spread. Also, try to find the most high quality version of images as possible. I know sometimes I'll see like the same image on Pinterest multiple times, but one of them is a lot more crisp and clear. I don't know your personal aesthetic, of course, or what you want your journal spread to look like, but you know, Pinterest does a good job at curating, of course, items that go well with each other. So I'm sure once you start looking, you'll find similar things. I really like looking up memo sheets or memo notes. You'll find a lot of Sumiko Gurashi ones or Sanrio ones, so those are really cute in spreads as well. I think that I just look for anything that I would put into an actual proper physical journal spread. I just try to find on Pinterest. I really love finding alphabets like this because it can take a lot of work out of having to write things by hand, which we'll get into in a minute. So step 2 is removing all of the backgrounds from our images. This is by far the most tedious part of this whole entire process, but we need our images to have transparent backgrounds. So things like book covers or scraps of torn paper or those memo sheets, they don't really matter, but for decorative items that will be layered, we have to. Like I said, it's definitely the most annoying step, but you only have to do it once, and then you can reuse your items, your pictures forever. Now we're ready to begin making our spreads. The first method is with Sketchbook only. Sketchbook is a free app. I use it to draw all the time. This is the canvas size that I use, which best matches the proportions for the paper app. And first of all, I add in all of the items that I need to make my spread, all of our transparent background pictures, and then I just start moving everything around to try to figure out the layout. And once I've gotten that done, I'll start writing. This is why I really like the Sketchbook app, is because it mimics real life so much. My handwriting, I really like using this pencil brush. It just makes it look so real. Once we're done writing, we're going to go down to the very bottom where it shows all of your layers, to the very bottom down there, which is the background. And you just click that little eye button, and that's going to make our background completely transparent, which is crucial for later on. And then all you do is click share and you save it as a PNG, and we're done with this step. If you don't want to use Sketchbook to make a spread, you could always use Canva. Canva is probably my preferred method to make spreads, but there are definitely pros and cons. Honestly, there's kind of a big drawback, but there's ways of working around it. In this spread, as you can see, I was kind of just playing around with this one. It's not the same spread as I was making before. I should have made the same ones, but I wanted to show you that Canva has a gigantic catalog of items that you can use for free. When I see items that I like, I literally go through and star them. That way I never lose track of them. And I find that to be really important, because if you didn't want to like search through Pinterest or whatever to find images and go through the whole process of removing their backgrounds, because again, that can take a while depending on how many items you have, this is a lot easier way. You can just search through Canva and find stuff that you can use for your spreads, and I promise you'll find plenty of cute things to use for whatever spreads you want to make. The major drawback of using Canva is that unless you have a Canva Pro account, you can't save anything that you make. You can't download the image with a transparent background. You can only do that if you have a pro account, and again, we're doing this for free. And so the workaround for that is that you either have to fill in the entire space, like your entire canvas basically, or you have to make the background color of whatever you're working on match the background color of paper, which I can show you later. I wanted to show you all the fonts that I like to use when I'm working on a spread. So these to me look the most like handwriting, and I really just changed the color from like harsh black to like a softer black, like a grayish black, so that looks more like pencil or pen. And that's pretty much it. I make my spreads the same way no matter what I'm using. I add all my images, I layer them, and then I add all the writing at the very end. So now we're at our final method, which is Canva and Sketchbook together. This is the size I use on Canva, by the way, whenever I'm making a spread. So this is a return to what I was making before, my spread about this manga that I read. As you can see, the background that I used before I was adding all of these different papers is kind of an off-white creamy color. That is the color of the paper app, which is so important because, as I said before, we cannot save anything with a transparent background on here, and we need the colors to match up, otherwise it'll look really weird. So what I did was I went onto the paper app, which I'll show you in a minute, and I took a screenshot of what it looks like, or what a blank spread looks like in the paper app, and then I just uploaded that image onto Canva and then I color matched the background color, and now I just keep a file that has the dimensions that I need as well as that background color on Canva all the time, and then when I want to start a new spread, I just click copy and make a new one. So once you're done with your spread, all you do is click share and then click download, which you can download it as a PNG, and then after that, we're going to take that image that we saved and open it in Sketchbook. Like I said, I really like the handwriting look, so all I was doing was taking what I wrote earlier and just rearranging it to better match the spread that I'm working on now. Once I had the text how I wanted it, I saved that image from Sketchbook and then uploaded it again in Canva to finish decorating it how I wanted to. Then I downloaded that and uploaded it one last time into Sketchbook because I really like adding shadows. I use a marker brush. I think this makes it look more realistic. It makes it look a lot like it is truly in a journal, which is what my goal always is. Like when I'm adding this little keychain here, this Miffy keychain, I think the shadows really make it look like a keychain is resting on the page, and that's kind of my goal for all of my spreads, is to make them look as realistic as possible. And I think you can tell the difference when shadows are added and when they're not. This is completely optional. I just like doing it because I think it adds realism to spreads, and that's what I like. I also wanted to add that the paper app itself does have tools. It has writing tools, so you could use it to handwrite all of your text, but I just feel like Sketchbook works better, especially because it has all of those layering features. Anyway, we are finally done with our spread, so now we're going to open up the paper app. This is how we'll be displaying our spreads. So as you can see, I already have journal set up. If I wanted to open a new one, I would just press that plus at the bottom and it would set up a new journal for me, but I already have one. I'm going to be putting the spread in my reading journal, so instead I just press the plus button once I've opened that up and it'll set up a new page. And once this page is open, there are different tools at the bottom. As you can see, eraser, pen, etc. We're going to go to the one all the way at the far right, which kind of looks like a little picture of mountains, and that's where you can upload images. With the free version of paper, you can only upload one image. So that's why it was so crucial before we made this image transparent, or we matched the background color to match the color of the paper app's background. As you can see, it was so easy to upload our completed spread. Literally, all I did was click upload, mess around with it so that I felt like it fit properly how I wanted it to, and that was it. The spread is done. I also wanted to showcase some of the features, like if you have a page that you no longer want in a certain journal, you can click move and very easily put it into a different journal. Also, when you're looking at your journal, you can click that button at the top with the different squares to see it displayed, your pages displayed out like this, and you can very easily move the pages in one journal around this way. And then you can just click the journal button again to see them back how they were. You can also save spreads straight from the app, which is really helpful if you want to share them on social media or anything like that. Or maybe if you weren't finished working on them, you could re-download the image again and continue on. So now that I've showed you all of the features, I thought I would finally give you a little journal tour. So I have 3 journals right now. This one on the end is where I keep spreads that I'm kind of trying out to see how they're going to look, or spreads that I no longer like. And then the one in the middle is my sketchbook. All that's in it so far is a drawing of Unho, which I did with the watercolor tool in the paper app. And of course I have my reading journal, which is the one I've been using the most. I love this spread so much. I guess because I used some manhwa merch from some of my favorite BLs. And then the next spread is actually the first one I made. I showed this on my community tab. I made this in Sketchbook and with Canva. I regret using the pen tool instead of a pencil tool, but that's okay. Since that spread was from 2023, I had to make a 2024 title page just to separate them. This one took a lot of layering. Next is the manga spread I just made that I just showed you in the video. I think it turned out really well. Again, I love the combo of Canva and Sketchbook. Then next is my spread that I made entirely in Canva. Again, I think it looks fine even without my own handwriting. I really love the color palette, and also I try my hardest to really make this look like something that was made on paper. This next spread, I'm not really sure if I should put it in the front or in the back, but I just made a little This Journal Belongs To page. I wanted to show you how that alphabet that we saved off of Pinterest turned out. It's pretty cute, right? I love that font. And then the final page is definitely one of my favorite that I've made. I don't even really know what this is. Maybe I'll make another journal and add this one to the front as like a title page. I just love all of the colors so much. So yeah, that's it. That's all the spreads I've made so far. These are all of my journals. I also really wanted to quickly show you that you can customize the covers of your journals. You only really have like these plain colors to choose from, which I think they're cute. As you can see, I've used some of them, but also you can do a custom image. So if you have like my sketchbook has a photo of Soan on the front of it, but if there's anything that you wanted to do, just kind of like resize the image and it'll turn out cute. I kind of like keeping mine plain actually, but the more journals you add, the cuter it'll be. Like they look so nice together just to flip through all of them like that. And that's pretty much it. I first heard about the paper app from a Korean journaler, Off, Off, On, Off. I'll leave their info below. I'm sure you've seen their spreads before, like their journals. They're really aesthetic. I'm sure you've seen them. The last thing that I want to mention is that the paper app, unfortunately, is only for iOS. I don't know why. So sorry to all of my Android users out there, but if you have any other questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.